Okay, so I've got it sort of stripped back down a little bit. I'm going to cut the 80/20 now. I should be able to get both of them out of one piece at 13 inches a piece. I'm going to just do this on the miter saw and just get it over with, rather than bandsaw and try to mill it and all that stuff. The precision does not need to be that high. As long as I'm pretty close to 13 and I get within, you know, a 64th or so, no problem. So we're going to head over to the miter saw, set up a stop for 13 inches, and get after it. So, alright, so I'm set up here. I've got my stop set at 13 inches. I got my stock here. I'm going to do a real quick little test in MDF since I have a scrap just sitting here waiting for me to make use of it. So we're just going to take a real quick peck on this. That's all we're doing. I'm going to measure it, make sure it's right at 13 like I would like. Yes, perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to go get the hearing and eye protection and do the part for real. As soon as I figure out where my ear muffs are, there they are. Second. Here we go. All right. You know what? We're going to clamp this down because I am not going to play around. Seems wise to be safe. There we go. Now we are safer. Let's do the noisy game here. Boy, that's a mess. And loud. Okay. One more real noisy cut. Sorry in advance. Stuff falling down from above there. Alright, everything's safe. Cool, that cut fine. Made a mess, but it cut fine. So we'll do like so. Just to get the clamp to stay put for a minute, and then like a so, to hold that one in place. This one has a ways to go. Okay, that one's held. So I didn't actually check to see if these holes lined up very well, so that was another case of going by specs, but I was pretty sure these were perfect. That there, that there, drop you down just a hair. Like so. How are you on the hole? Oh yeah, right where they go. Perfect. You know what? That might be how I tap these. I just clamp them in place and then run the tap in. That might actually do the trick. Works. Yeah, maybe we do it that way. We don't know yet. But that gives sort of, I forgot where the camera was. That gives kind of an idea of that bit, and then of course we'll have a rail here and a rail up here to hold everything. Those line up nice. Should be noted that the T-nuts that go in here will not be removable, but that's good to see. Alright, cool. I like it. I like that. And then cool. So that's kind of the shell of the machine right there. 80/20 is going to stiffen the hell out of this frame for sure. Yeah, we're sturdy. It's not wobbly anywhere. No wobble anywhere. That's good. So the next bit is I got to get those tapped. I'm wondering if I can get the tap in there. If it'll even work. If I can get it in through this hole, and if doing so does me any bit of good. That might do me some good, actually. I'm going to put it in the drill. Let's find out. Yeah, those clamps have to be really nice and tight. Tight. And we'll see what happens. Go for it. Why not? Live on the edge a bit. Okay, let's try it. It's doing it. It did not mind that a bit. Let's see if I can get the other one. Not a bit. Didn't mind one iota. Cool. It sort of reamed a little bit on this hole, but that's okay. I am encouraged by my success. Those holes are way off, but that's okay. I'm gonna flip this clamp around. So fingers crossed there's enough thread there to be effective. A little more of the encre l'herbe. See if that hurt anything here. And that really did just get them started, but that's okay. Should we try for those next? Yeah, we should. Those look good here. Hang on to it here. Okay. All right, let's try that. Now I can pull them out and do them the rest of the way because they're barely even threaded right now. And the screw is holding everything together now. Again. Okay. I'm going to mark this one as bottom real quick, just so I know, just in case I need to put them in the right way, the way I just had them, but I think we're okay. Alright, there is very little thread on those, but hopefully enough to engage with this. I'm going to go clean this thing. You know, we should go to that vise. We shouldn't do this here anyway. Let's go to the metalworking vise, shall we? Alright, let's see if we can't screw this up. Just go at it like this, I suppose. Hopefully with enough chooch in this. I hope there's enough flute engagement that I'm not fighting the the gappy hole. Here, let me show you what I'm contending against, and maybe I need a guide. But the hole has, see the top corners? There's little dog ears in the corners of the holes that I'm trying to thread. So I'm hoping I can get enough thread engagement here. That seems okay. Oh yeah, we're good. Oh yeah. That's no problem. That tapped it. That's good. Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, then I was concerned, but not necessarily needed to be concerned. Got enough thread engagement that I'm not at risk of it slipping around in there too much. So that's all good. There we go. Tap, tap, tap. Uh-huh. Perfect. Easy peasy. My battery's getting dull though. Oh yeah. Flip it. that's it for those 5/16 ones are done. Let's go bolt this thing together, shall we? Okay. Oh, I should go grab some 5/16 bolts while I'm at it. Well, I really wish I had button head cap screws, but I doesn't. Excuse me. So we're gonna have to go with the socket head ones, I guess. It's okay. There's a lot of other, not so much on this side, but on the other ones, there's a lot of stuff sticking out. So it's not a big deal. I'd love it if they were just smooth button head cap screws, but I don't need to go out and get a bunch, get 8 button head cap screws. It's all right. I will survive. Okay, let's see if we can't weasel this guy back in the way it was. I am gonna make the screw a non-issue here for a bit, for a little while, just to give myself some play, some room to play around. That will do plenty, 'cause, yeah. All right, let's thread. Oh, this is where we find our next sized cap. No, that one does. That one will do, I guess. It's so funny that that's a metric, even though these are 5/16. Get in now. Ain't got no play, so we might run into a challenge there. We'll see. Let's get that hole aligned. Come on, buddy. Come on, buddy boy. I knows you can. I know you can. I drilled ya. Okay. Just quick. Dropped on the floor. Do this one now. Hopefully it aligns well enough. Hey, yeah. Sweet. Yeah. That is all the 80/20 in this whole thing. Well, it is what it is. It are what I see some narrow. Anywho, that's cool. That's structural. That is very good. I think it's time to pull it out now and see about those rails, getting those rails attached. All right, we're back over on this vise. We're just going to drill each of these These holes have already been drilled out. They're just a little small. So we're just going for making them quarters. Very easy job. Alright, so they have been drilled out. We have our T-slot stuff. Just going to stick it here in this vicing vise, just to make use of it. I'm going to take, ooh, these might need to be longer. Might be a bit, well, maybe not. Does it work this way? Yeah, it does. Okay, we're going to put, so these T-nuts that I got them a long time ago from Lee Valley. Don't fit any of my T-track, and they got this little bump, but the bump fits beautifully inside of this T-track of the 80/20. So some purchase I made 10 years ago that I thought was a mistake has proven to come out useful eventually. It took a decade, but it happened. So I'm just going to start them. There should be plenty of thread here. And just set it like, yeah, it works. And I'm just going to start them on this, and then I'll hopefully I bought this specific 80/20 because its tracks are supposed to be the perfect spacing for these rails. The answer will be very clear shortly. So hopefully this preload gets me ones that are in where I want them, and now we just try to slide her on there. Okay, Let's get those. That's on. Good. So far, so there's plenty of threads on that too. Good. Okay, slide you on. Now, with all correction, there's a little bit of wiggle. There'll be less once I get all of these guys aligned, as I attempt to make sure that I slip them. I'm going to slide you down just a tiny bit here for a second. Oh, make sure I've got it. Yeah, I'm wedging them. So I'm just making sure that that little crown makes it into the narrowest part of the T-track. It doesn't actually matter, but because it'll move it anyway, I think. Yeah, it did. Cool. That is actually going to hold this down really quite well, I think. Cool. So that'll work. Wink. Wink. Come out of there. That's the biggie. And we'll do the next one. Don't pinch yourself. Try not to pinch yourself. Okay, we'll do this again. Do. Try to just get a couple of threads engaged. Do the next one here. Do. This is working really, really well. So some of this is, I'm a little surprised how easily things are going. The fact that I got to move the nut screw holes is minor. I can solve that. The rest of this working is nice. It's a pleasant surprise, I'll say that. I feel like I've had a lot of time to figure out this. I've obsessed a bit about this design for a while, so it's got a pretty good chance that I've thought through a lot of this stuff. But okay, that one's good. That one's good. Hey, cool. Hey, cool. So these will go basically centered, I think, if memory serves. Yeah. And then the carriages will ride on them. So there, they got the first set of rails on. I don't have the angle iron yet, but I needed the rails on first, so I had the screw locations and stuff. That piece of angle iron needs to go with the hole spacing too, so we might do that on the CNC, maybe. Cool, that's there. So those rails work nicely, very nicely. We're getting things together. So alright, when we last left, our hero was contemplating the problem of the nut block. I don't know what to call this without it sounding dirty, but it's the, can't call it the ball nut block, it's the flange nut block that bolts to it. I stupidly did not confirm my hole spacing when I drew this. I got those holes are supposed to align with these holes. And I had these blocks in hand when I drew this, but I was using the specs of the screw, and apparently they've interchanged these. So I just, rather than confirm it, I trusted the drawings, and the drawings were wrong. So what we've got to do is, I've got to relocate these 4 holes to this hole pattern in a location that doesn't affect a bunch of other stuff. And what I can do, and it's the same on all 3 axes, all 3 for this axis and this axis and this axis. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the holes, I'm just going to make new holes along the axis that is being adjusted, because there's enough room in each plate to just, you know, shift them along whichever direction the screw, you know, parallel to the screw. And so what I've got to do first is figure out what the hell that spacing is. So I'm going to do something that might be a little weird, but we're going to measure. Bring you over here. We're going to measure one of these blocks here. So I've got one of them just free. And because the holes are threaded, I started with like transfer punches, but I can't get a punch or anything into these holes in any way that's anywhere near concentric or whatever. And because I'm going to be drilling oversized holes anyway into the plates, what I really just need is kind of a ballpark center so that the tolerance of the oversized hole somehow finds the location of the screw, of the threaded hole. So what I've done is I've taken some number 10 32 screws, which happen to be the same as 5mm 0.8 over this distance. There is a slight error that builds up, but you can go a good ½ an inch of thread before you start to feel it, the thread start to bind. And these are ½ inch long, so they went in. And so I've got 3 of them there because I need to get a width and a length, or I want the spacing pattern. So I've got my old trusty digital calipers here, which is also just precise enough. I didn't turn the heads of these to anything precise. There's no, I'm not freaking out about that sort of thing. I don't really need it to be to within a gnat's behind. I just need it ballpark. Within a millimeter is probably fine, but I'll try for a better than that. ½ a millimeter maybe would be fine. So I'm just going to zero out my caliper, and then I'll figure out, I'm going to start in metric because I have a feeling metric's going to work better. So we're at 49¼ millimeters there, and then I'll just find the average. We're at 9.4, 9.45 for 2. So let's say 9.4. And what did we say this was? 49¼ millimeters, 49.25 millimeters. I can get it down to, oh, I see what I'm doing there. Okay, so we'll just make sure we're parallel. Yeah, 49¼ millimeters. So let's, well, hell, we'll just do this. 49.25 millimeters. And the heads are, what did I say, 9.4 millimeters? It's about 939. I can't get it to a quarter. It'd be nice if I could, but so we're not going to get it down to a quarter. Yeah, 9.4. Yeah, 9.4 on the heads here. Just getting a rough average of the head diameter, 9.33, something like that, 9.4-ish. So the head diameter is 9.4 millimeters, and then we'll go this direction. Then is 33.2 millimeters. So we've got 33.2 millimeters. Now I'm going to try to do this in standard just in case. I have a feeling that metric's going to work better, but we'll switch to standard SAE to inches, and we are 1.936, 1.939-ish. Let's make sure we're parallel. So 1.939, so 1.939 inches, and these are in a rough diameter of 0.369, 0.37. Let's say that's 370 and a half. This one's a little small, 367. So if we said 370, that's fine. 0.370 for that head, and then this diameter, this distance here, 1.307, 1.3. We get, yeah, 1.307 sounds about 1.305. It looks like, okay, 1.305, 1.305. So now I've got both measurements in standard and in metric. I'm going to do a little quick math, and that'll help me to determine what my spacing needs to be. And it'll just basically be subtract the diameter from this, and that's your spacing. All right, so the next bit is we're going to take a side that was machined, and I'm going to move these guys down probably just right next to themselves, basically, and in, I guess. I think they'll be enough. So I'm going to go grab some Sharpie, a scribe, and a scale, and everything I need to, or a square, and everything I need to just do the layout for this. I'll be right back. All right, so we have to lay this out so that I get the holes where I would like them to be. And where I'd like them to be is centered. So the trick is this side was not machined, so this width is not actually centered. I don't want it centered on this width. I want it centered between the trucks. So I kind of need to come up with like some measurement that I think I have it. No, maybe not. I need to come up with some measurement that gets me to the center fairly accurately. I think I might flip and yeah, I don't know just yet how to get there. And it doesn't have to be super critical, but it would really be nice if it was very, very close to centered between the points, but I don't need it like, I don't need a machine shop level of accuracy here. I just need it, you know, rough ballpark. That's actually not terrible. If I put, I'm going to take the Sharpie real quick and just put a mark here. If I put a scribe on that, just like this, I can hang on to the square. I scribe there, and then I measure, I guess, like, and we're in weird territory for precision anyways, because this counterbore location is not exactly that great of a positioning. That's pretty close. I can live with it. I'm going to take off like just a teeny tiny bit. There, that's enough. Yeah, that moved it just a little. So if we call that our Z, or our center line, yeah, that'll work. Then I can reference all of my parts off of that. All of my marks can be referenced from that point. For this, I'm going to make the mark once more. I could do it like this, but what I'd rather do is make a tick, get this on there, set the square. Should I use 2 squares? Set the square long enough to go all the way, and then we can go here against this edge, hit the end of that screw, hit the end of that scribe, and we can scribe this whole center line. Now, the next bit is everything's going to be referenced off this line, which I think is fine. That shouldn't be a big deal. And we are going to go with, I'm going to go with the metric measurements because it's easier to do the math on. 39.8 is 24.5, or sorry, is 19.5 plus 0.4, so 19.9, I believe. Let's double check that. Dear calculator. 39, let's see if my math still works. 0.8 divided by 2, 19.9, my brain still works. Ha ha ha. Okay, so we're going to move this out to 19.9, right, there, okay, moving it, there, okay, that's going to put us somewhere in this vicinity, so we're going to take and get the scribe on this as well. Probably just mark it there. I'll just do a mark. Where is that? Is that about? Yeah, so okay, so if we just cross this line, gotta hit the line first, and we cross this line. 19. And so we're around in there. And right there. Okay. Now if I set the scribe there, we come across and hit it like that, we can use these lines as our long dimensions. Do the same on this one. Get the scribe there. I'm just doing some basic layout here. This is pretty simple stuff, and it might be I might be blaspheming here and not realizing it, but this is helping for my brain. So I'm going to grab a screwdriver and remove the screws at this time. I mean, we could just set this on there, I guess, huh? And see where we intersect our tips. Yeah, that's fine. That's plenty accurate. That should be no troubles. I'll actually put up against the edge here. Hold on. I can put it right along here. Hold on a minute. Hold on 1 minute. It would be different if the threads on the 5mm or the number 10 screws were tighter tolerance, but they're not. Alright, so I know you probably will not be able to see this, but they do line up enough for me to be perfectly happy with that. Remember, the holes that I'm going to drill are absolutely oversized for the size of screw that's going in there, so I'm not at all worried about that. So our next measurement is 23.8, and this, I've just got to pick a line and figure it out. So 23.8 is our too far. There it is. And see where, so if I went here, that's going to be really close to this where the counterbore is. It would be fine. The end mill would have no trouble with it. I am going to fill these holes with something because I don't want chips going down inside the, I don't want them going under the table. I'm going to try my best to do some level of chip management here. So if we went like this, I'd be basically straddling this counterbore, which would make filling it a little tricky. I'd have to fill it first before I did the counterbore, and I could do that. I've got parts I can do that with. I was trying to decide if I'd use aluminum or brass, but I'll probably use aluminum. Or I can just come way out here and mount this far up. I really, really do like the symmetry, and I'm really annoyed that I messed up the symmetry. Yeah, I just can't drill those holes there. I just cannot move it in that far. So if I do like this, we're going to intersect with one of those counterbores. I don't like that. I guess if we went way out here, that would be fine. To come clear over here, maybe. Because that'd clear these holes completely, lets me fill them, not a big deal. Maybe we'll do that. Okay, so at this point, all I need to do first is some arbitrary distance. I can start the lines. So I'm just going to pick here. So this is the first two holes. Are we on the right edge? Yeah, we are. Okay. Okay, then we can take this, we're still at 23.8, and just go right there. Dink. Just going to do the one. There's no real reason to do two of them. And we can do this side now. And hit the scribe like that, and just go blunk like that. Okay, so that puts those holes where I would like them. We're going to lay out the other two plates just like this. So I'll give you some fine music and you can laugh at my process, but this should get me holes where I need them. Okay, I'm going to take a quick glance through and see if I can line these holes. Yeah, okay, that's going to work great. All right, the burr from the drilling actually raised up enough material to like fall right into the pocket. I'm going to drill from the other side so that the burr is on the top side when I go to do the next hole, because then I'll use the 1/2 inch bit to mark for my counterbore, and it'll take away the burr. There we are. Now on we go to the mill and finish off these counterbores. Bring you back over there. All right, we're at the mill. We've got our 1/2 inch end mill in. We've swung our jaws around so we can grab a hold of it wide ass part like this. And I'm putting it so that the holes I'm going to be cutting are right over the center. It doesn't really matter because these are counterbores, but I'm doing that because I want to make sure that my travel here is enough. Okay. We're going to get down right close, and we're going to come over here and get into that counterbore. Let's see. Oh no, we got to come over a fair bit here. Right there. Does that work for you? Seems to be reasonable. That seems okay. Alright, we can lock down the things. We can, I don't have a depth on this yet, so we're going to engage this. Oh, we're going to turn it on first. And then I'm just going to slowly feed it down. And then I'm going to back it up. I'm watching the depth here. I want it at about 300. It's still not a fun operation. It is not happy, but it'll do it. Let's see, how are you? Yeah, I can deal with that. Alright, let's go back down to it, right there. I'll lock the head. We're going to put our cutter head, our stop here. I need a brush. Where are all my brushes hiding? I keep consuming them, I think. Okay. Lock that in place, then we can come down till we hit it. Perfect. Now we'll get a hole that goes like that. They look like they're going to line just fine. Perfect. Okay, good. That is confirmation I can see already. But I'll put another bolt in just to prove my own self. There it goes. And the other two are right there. So just a quick glance down these holes and you can see. There. See, there it is lining up right in there. So good. This is good. Very, very good.